timeout. I'm tired of holding this. All right, what's up, guys? I'm at the shop today. I've got, as you can see the video description, I've got a trashed XXL 270 awning right here. If you guys haven't seen already, one of our YouTube affiliates, Georgia Boy Outdoors, he was running this on his Tacoma. Well, he always runs it. He uses it a crap ton. But they had this open at a boat ramp down in South Georgia, cooking some crabs and some other stuff for lunch out under this thing at the boat ramp. They're set up on asphalt, so there's nowhere to put the anchors. So he took some of the heaviest stuff he's got in his truck, like I think it was 4 batteries that he uses for the boats and stuff, and then some like lipo packs. So none of those anchors were less than like, I don't know, maybe 60 pounds. They got hit with like this last minute out of nowhere windstorm with like 40-mile-an-hour gusts, 30-mile-an-hour sustained. They're lucky nobody got hurt. The awning literally chucked the batteries up over the truck, smashed his driver's side mirror, smashed the hard piece of metal that goes over top of the window, and then put some like big dents inside of the truck. So like I said, they're lucky nobody got hurt. If you got smacked in the grape by a 60-pound flying battery, I mean, I don't know, it sounds kind of fatal to me. But anyways, one of the things I tell the customers that buy this big 8-foot awning is that, yeah, this is like the biggest, strongest awning on the market you can buy. But with that, you have to understand it's a big, giant sail. And Craig at Georgia Boy understood that. He had it anchored down. It's just that storm came out of nowhere. If he saw it coming, he knows to put this thing up real quick. And unfortunately, it was just parked directly into the wind. So no fault of his, like at all. We're not upset. We've already got a new one on his truck this week, so he's ready to roll. But this thing is a giant awning, and it acts as a huge sail. So yeah, you get a ton of shade. It's like 130 square foot of shade under this thing. But it does not do good in high wind because it's just so big. Now, I'm getting ready to open this up because I've learned this lesson the hard way. So during R&D, I didn't exactly park this thing in 80-mile-an-hour winds. We've had some other stuff in heavy winds. I do think that this thing performs better anchored into the earth with like drilled in anchors with above the poles. It's freestanding awning, but it does have poles that you can run the guy lines from above the poles instead of like gutter it a little bit, and I think it'll perform better. But since this thing got so messed up, and y'all can see it in his video if you go check out his channel, I'm gonna open it up and see exactly like what the damage is. But you can see these are super heavy duty L brackets. This is a 95-pound awning in total. And so we have to use these really heavy duty L brackets here. These got completely bent backwards. There's some top oak brackets on here for the awning, and one of these you can see got completely bent. So what I wanna do now is just kind of open this thing up and see exactly how bad it got damaged. Because this is good for me for use as an R&D thing. And then I can pull the fabric off and reuse it for something. So yeah, let's just see how bad this thing got. This thing is an absolute mess. He's used the awning straps and the light strips to tie it together. I love Craig. But yeah, this was a passenger side awning. And so we just put a driver's side on his truck this week. So I think he's gonna like that more. Jiminy Christmas, this thing is. Y'all can see in his video, he had some good Samaritans helping him out. It's so big of an awning, and the wind was still pushing it, like trying to flip. He said at one point the truck tires lifted off the ground because there was like 3 or 4 of them trying to hold the poles down. And you can see where the male end of the pole slid out of its frame, and the whole awning flipped over. They're trying to push it down, and the wind was so strong that they couldn't even push it back down. They had to turn the truck around to even get this thing to go down so they could drive off. I asked Craig this week what he thinks would have happened if he had the walls on this thing, and I kind of wonder if it just would have been blowing real hard and not actually blown it, over the truck. But I mean, I don't even think it was like able to transport on the brackets anymore. This thing He showed up and it was literally tied to the roof of the tent. All right, I think I've got it almost unpackaged here. All right, I'm gonna try to stay in frame. Y'all yell at me if I'm out of the frame. All right, so looks like the number 4 or 5 truss is that's completely bent. I feel like I need to hold the camera over here so y'all can see this. I might have to open this up upside down to really see the damage. This thing is way easier to open when it's on the truck. There's the legs. You can see just how big this thing is. I mean, this is taking up a huge chunk of my floor space right now. Oh my gosh, I don't think I'm gonna be able to even open it all the way in my shop without beating up some other stuff. Had to break the glass on that topper. All right, so y'all can probably see this far back one is toast. It's completely bent up. Let me just clamp this thing open to itself. Okay, that's not supposed to look like that. Okay, so the fabric's off over here. I don't know if y'all can see me, but that's fine. This truss is, that truss is fine. That truss is fine. Dude, am I gonna be able to salvage this thing? I think I might be able to just replace that one truss. Okay, this truss. What's going on here? Where's the bend at? All right, I think the golf cart's gonna have to go. All right, golf cart's not working. This is gonna be a fun project. If you guys wanna tune in later to see the overland golf cart build. Probably gonna ditch the yellow and purple flames. Man, I really think this thing might be salvageable. Looks like there's a little bit of a bend. Okay, the frame itself is bent. Okay, so you can see like this frame is kind of like twisted a little bit like that. But honestly, from what I can tell, the truss knuckle in the back, which is the hinge, that thing, and I'll show you guys in a second, that thing's in good shape. And then the rest of the trusses are actually in good shape. It's just the frame, the plate frame, and the very back truss. All right, so I'm gonna flip this over and then I'll show you guys. Okay, Y'all can probably see this a little bit better now. I know that lens on the camera is not going to get all of this, but I'll try. It's not going to open up very easy because it's upside down. The awning's bent up, so. Maybe I can. Okay, there we go. I'll just put this on here temporarily so you can get a look at it. I'm not mad at it. Like, I wasn't mad at it before, but I'm like genuinely impressed. So you guys that know me know that like, I'm not like big into like technical off-roading. I'm a bit of an idiot when it comes to mechanic stuff. My buddy Tim Grover at RevTac in Nebraska has taught me a lot. And one of the things he said, I'll never forget, is when you're building stuff, he's talking about trucks, that you do want to have like weak points in the build so that you're not going to break, like, because there's always a chance of breaking something. You want to, when there's enough stress for something to break, you want to have like a weaker point that's easier to fix. Now, is that truss easy to fix? If I had one sitting here right now, this awning would literally be ready to go in about 10 minutes. I could just fix that, and this awning is usable. I would need to kind of bang out the frame a little bit. But I'll walk you guys around so you can see, I mean, we're salvageable. There's some things around here that sort of need to be tightened, like this leg got broke off. I guarantee you that was just from them trying to like rescue the thing. I'm not mad at that at all. That's easy to replace. I'm not mad at any of it. I don't know why I keep saying that. I think that's like a slang term because I'm such a young kid and hip and cool. So there's some like small, like not as important components. The light strip needs to be replaced. This truss, obviously, support pole. And then some of the other joints on here need to be tightened just from them getting worked from having to try to like fight this thing in the wind. And I think I can work with the frame. Now the frame, I have to completely disassemble the entire unit. So I got to you can see like where the frame is bent right here. I'll show you guys. I know I keep saying that. I'm actually going to show you now. All right, this camera's heating up, so I got to be quick. All right, so you can see this truss is the most broken piece of this. So it's broken about halfway down the actual truss. I mean broke. Like that's the only part that's like broke. That's easy to replace. Just got a through bolt here. If I can. So that bolt just needs to come out of the knuckle, and then I can replace the truss. And then you can see here, I can probably knock this stuff back into true. Just close that gap, tighten everything back down. Looks like I might need to improve the design here though. These are 10s. I probably need to go up to a 13 on those. I don't know if you guys can see, that's kind of dark. Okay. Yeah, those would be really easy for me to actually drill out and make this a bigger nut. And it tells me I probably need to go all the way to the top and bottom of this bracket. But again, I'm making a stronger point, like what would break under stress? Like would that be fatal? But I'll probably pull these off, both sides here, all the way like completely off the focus. And then just like re-true up this entire bracket right here. So you can see that truss is in good shape. This needs to be tightened. Right here, that's a little loose from all the stress of fighting it. This one probably needs to be tightened up right here. Everything else looks good on that. So the front couple is good. This is the one where Craig was fighting it and the the actual bottom part of that leg came out. Not a big deal. All right, so as y'all can see, I mean, I've got this thing completely open. Look, I mean, you can see just how big this is. Like, this is enough room where my daughter can like ride her scooter around in the shop, and this thing's just like dominating the space right now. But you can see that the far back truss is the main one that got broken, understandably, if you see the video where the wind was coming from. I got a couple little things to tighten on the support poles. Again, it's a freestanding awning. It doesn't technically need those unless you do need to tie it down or you want the poles out of the way for the lights. And then I'll rework the main knuckle and the back plate. I think the biggest thing is just the back plate to true it up so that when the thing's open, it's all sitting level. But like all in all, like this is not a hard fix like in the slightest. So very cool. I'm trying to think if I've got another like prototype in here somewhere I can just take one of the trusses from, because all these trusses are identical. So as y'all can see, like I'm just hiking my skirt and just being transparent with y'all. Like this is the first double XL awning that I've had brought back to me that's trashed. I haven't sold a single one elsewhere where somebody's like had it broken. We worked the crap out of this thing in R&D. The only thing we didn't do was just take it this far. So this is cool to see and to see where we can improve on. But like I was talking about, you want the weak points in there, and I don't know like if I would have it any other way because I can replace the truss. All right, one thing before I let you guys go, I did want to like preemptively address the douchebags in the comment section just to keep this clean. I'll never understand why people want to be such idiots in the comment section. It never ceases to amaze me. But anyways, to address anywhere from a douchebag to somebody that just doesn't know about these awnings. So it doesn't matter what brand awning you get, what material you get. These things are not meant to be deployed like in high winds, okay? This is a freestanding awning. So like there's no awning that's gonna sustain like notable winds freestanding. That's why we have the optional drop down legs. But like I said before, this thing is such a big awning that, I mean, he had 30-mile-an-hour sustained winds and 40-mile-an-hour gusts, so that storm that just like snuck up on him. And no awning is gonna survive that unless it's just, I'm talking anchored freaking down. But even then, when they were holding it as much as they could for a little while, you heard Craig say in that video that the truck tires were getting lifted off the ground, and you can see that battery get chucked. So I'm just saying that to remind you how hard these winds were blowing. But these awnings, if you're running this awning or anybody else's awning on your truck, I don't recommend you going to bed with the awning actually out. I recommend you putting it away unless you know there's not going to be any kind of wind, 5, 6, maybe 10-mile-an-hour winds max. But even then, with 10 mile an hour, it's going to keep you awake because it's going to be rocking the truck. It's going to be kind of noisy. And the other thing, it just like when you get out of bed, and like if you're moving locations that morning, having it put away just saves you a couple minutes the next morning. And it keeps you from getting dew on it the next morning. So if you want to leave it up overnight, I just recommend, unless you know that you have like no wind whatsoever, is just put the support legs down and the guy lines down and just kind of anchor it down. If you're like me, you're at elk camp and it's going to be 3 nights minimum in the same place, go ahead, anchor it down, set up so that you do have, you know, a dry, shaded piece of ground when you get out of bed in the morning. But even if you're staying in a static position and you got some weather coming in, if you're exposed to the wind, you want to put this thing away. You want to fold it up, tuck it away so it's not going to get damaged. This is not the same as a rooftop tent. There's just differences here. This is a huge piece of fabric that's just sticking straight out over the earth that's like very vulnerable to winds. So you've seen, I mean, Craig made this point too, like even RV awnings, like those are really strong and they have like an A-frame when they're deployed. So they don't just hang out over the living space like this. They actually have another leg that comes in to keep them strong. But those things will get broke the freak off when some good winds come in there. So I'm very proud of how this thing performed. I'm very, very happy that Craig and Colt's buddies did not get hurt from the freaking flying batteries all over the place. It looked like it was super chaotic. I'm just thankful nobody got hurt because it's never fun when somebody gets hurt. So one thing, what I'm sitting here thinking is that like in the video, you can see the awning is standing straight up on the truck and even back a little bit further. I think some of that range of motion there is gonna be from just like all the multiple joints on this awning. So you've got to the crossbars, so L-frame here, so there's a little bit of like micro flex in there somewhere, and then the connection to the back of this plate, connection to the knuckle, and then how long these things are even have their own flex. So I think there's probably, I mean, you can see when this thing's like brand new on the side of a truck, you've got, you know, some play with just how long the awning is and how much flex. It's like connection after connection after connection. There's a little bit of just like natural give there as it is. So I bet there's a few feet in there somewhere that's just like natural awning play, and then the rest of it's gonna be these bends like in the brackets and in the knuckle, and then obviously in the snap right there, so. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna literally fold this thing back in and package it up like it's totally fine. I just kind of get it out of the way because I need to build another truss for this thing and swap it out, do a little bit of work. I don't have any time in the next couple weeks, so I'm just gonna package it up, stash it to the side, but I'll make sure this thing's ready to go for elk camp this year. And we've only got like a month and a half, which is nuts. Oh. You can see right there, that's just all from the bent truss and the bent frame plate. All right, I fought with this thing for long enough, and I don't want to create more things to fix like this zipper. So you can see the hammer sitting there. Had to give some encouragement to one little piece on that knuckle, but I'm probably gonna unzip this back a little bit and then stow this away. But yeah, I'll do another video of me actually fixing this thing and putting it back together, so. All right, guys, I'm gonna get back to the AC inside. It's hot. I can't have the fan going while the camera's rolling because it's so freaking loud. I gotta plug this golf cart in so I can take a drive and get me some air. Thanks, guys. See ya.